Hi curl friends, welcome back to my channel, Outrageous Curls. In today's video, I'm sharing how I learned to love my curly hair and some curly hair tips on how I overcame my fears and developed confidence into wearing my natural curly hair. Keep watching to see more. Before I started my natural hair journey, I actually hated my curly hair. But then to be fair, I didn't really know what my curly hair was. I wanted straight hair because that was what was mainly around me at the time, especially when I was younger. I think the fair few that actually wore their curly hair out was my mum and one of her friends, a few of her friends, but their curly hair was like, they had it short, so it was like short curly hair. And then I think the majority of like my father's side, who have similar hair to me, they had it relaxed and they had it straightened, and they've always had it that way and they've actually enjoyed it. So I thought, okay, this is something I feel like I should do more. And they had that hair length, they had the straight hair, and it just looked so good. And I saw women on TV that would have that would be like mixed race black, that would have like lovely straight hair. And I'd think, wow, like how were they born with that? Not really understanding that they relax their hair. So of course I wanted to have my curly hair relaxed because I was just like, I want to have straight hair. I want to be like everyone else. I didn't like standing out a lot. I got made fun of. I was a bit of a crybaby, and I just kind of wanted to blend in as much as possible so I wouldn't get picked on for things and for being different, because unfortunately that's what happened when you're a kid. And from that, I straightened my hair so much to the point that if I saw a bit of frizz, I was like, nope, straight. And I was really toxic with my curly hair. I think I said this before, that I would straighten my curly hair 3 times a day when I was a teenager, to the point that my curly hair was actually breaking off. So my hair was like really short, it was really damaged, it was super dry. And I was doing all of this and I couldn't, at the time I loved it, I'm not gonna lie, I loved doing that because I felt happy to blend in. I felt like I was like everyone else at school, and I felt like I belonged in a strange way. Does that make sense? I don't know if that sounds weird, but that's how I felt, and I really enjoyed doing it at the time. It did start to get very frustrating, especially when it got to winter and the days it rained. It felt like it rained a lot whenever I would straighten my hair, or if I went to the hairdressers, it would rain the next day, and I'd think, how dare you ever, which would be really frustrating. So I felt like I was battling all the time when I straightened my hair, and from that I started to feel really exhausted. I don't know, something suddenly clicked, and I couldn't remember why I was doing this. Why was I waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to straighten my hair? Why would I be conscious and start to feel insecure if there was a bit of rain? I would always feel a bit embarrassed if there was a bit of frizz, and I just always felt a bit ugh if my hair didn't look good. I would rush home to straighten my hair just so I felt like I was back to normal. It was very unhealthy, and I just thought, you know what, I'm done with this. I couldn't take it anymore. And that's when it started to click in my brain. I was trying to fit myself into something that I wasn't, and I was trying to be something I wasn't. So I was trying to make myself fit into something I wasn't. So from that, I started to get a bit curious about my curly hair, and I googled curly hair, and there was this picture of Beyonce with her hair out, and I was like, wow, like maybe I could do something with this. So the first thing, when I started my curly hair journey, I struggled a lot because there was such unrealistic beauty standards out there when it came to curly hair, and I didn't really understand what my curly hair type would be. And I wanted something else because there was a lot of media at the time when the natural curly hair movement started. They started to shape the idea of this is what curly hair should look like. And there was a lot of more of these advertisements of this and that. And there wasn't a lot of people that actually had my curly hair type out there. So I started to not really embrace my natural hair when I first started, and I wanted something different. And I would follow someone on YouTube who their curly hair is absolutely lovely, but of course their curly hair needs are completely different to my curly hair needs, and I didn't understand that at the time either, because there was more information that I needed to understand, that not just my curly hair type is different, but my hair porosity type is different, my environment is different, my routine is different. So certain curly hair types will work better for me based on my lifestyle and my curly hair needs. And I was using all the wrong products. I was not using products that were moisturizing my curly hair and adding hydration to my curls, which is what it needed. I wasn't really deep conditioning well enough. And I was so focused on the styling part. So I actually focused more on like hair gels and hair mousses. Well, actually, no, I didn't really use hair mousses at all, to be fair, but I focused a lot more on hair gels rather than a leave-in conditioner and a curling cream when it came to it, because I just wanted the perfect curl. And that was being shown all over the place, like get the perfect curl, frizz free. And like, if you've got frizz, this means your curly hair is dry. If you've got frizz, this means it's ugly. And your mindset, and not your mindset, but should I say your perception of what your curly hair should be like changes because of what you're being pushed towards. And this was something very hard to overcome, because you're trying to embrace your natural self, embrace what you naturally have. What changed this for me was when I started to see more people showing up on social media that actually had my hair type. And when I started to see that, I thought, wow. And there's one girl on YouTube, I'll link her video here, and she does like the shingling method, and it's not exactly the same, but very similar to my hair type. And I was just in awe with how her hair looked, but also her confidence and the way she carried herself. And I thought, you know what? This is what I can achieve, like work towards. But it made me realize that I'm probably looking at things the wrong way. So I came across some other YouTubers that had similar hair structure to mine, and they explained more just focusing on like deep conditioning, moisturizing your curly hair, and DIY hair masks. And this made me more excited with exploring new ways to moisturize my curly hair rather than focusing on the perfect curl. And over time, from doing that, I started to see my curl definition come through. I started to see my curly hair got stronger. It experienced less hair breakage, and I started to get thicker, and my curly hair started to grow, and it started to grow a lot quicker compared to before, because I was using the right products for my curly hair. And that made me more excited to see what would happen. And I started to experiment with other things, such as like box braids, doing braid outs, twist outs, and doing like butterfly locks, things that would help protect my hair, but also new ways to experiment in new ways with my curly hair that just made it more exciting. So from that made me feel, that started to change my perception of my curly hair. When you start surrounding yourself with people that are just like you and have that positive influence and have that passion for their curly hair, it starts to rub off on you, and you want to do the same thing. And over time, you get into a routine, you get into a different mindset, and it felt so good to really start stepping into my own natural beauty and starting to own that even more. One of the hardest things as well when you first start your curly hair journey is building that confidence to wear your curly hair out. And I know it is really scary. I felt so nervous the first time I did it. I had a really messy, I did a braid out, and at the time it looked so good, so defined, but by the time I came back from the shops, it looked really messy and really frizzy. And I was so like, oh my God, freaked out at first. And I do remember walking down the streets and thinking some people were looking at me, some people weren't looking at me, being a little conscious at first, because I think it shows when you are doing something new and you feel a little bit conscious. It does show, and some people do look at you and just, they might be picking up on it, or they might be looking at you in admiration. You never know unless you ask them. But that was my first experience of walking out in the streets, confident, like trying to just wear it out. I got to a point where my curly hair was really starting to grow out really nicely. But setting yourself a target is a really good way to start wearing your natural hair out. So if you think, okay, I'm gonna try and wear it out for about an hour on Saturday, and go to the shops, and just try not to worry about what other people see. When you first want to wear your curly hair out as well, like I said with my braid out, I thought it was perfect, and you kind of, it's so hard to get out of that mindset, especially as a woman. Like, you just want to be perfect at everything. Perfection is something you always want to achieve, and it's not possible. There's no such thing as perfection. There's no such thing as perfect. So it's hard to really try and break away from that mindset, because we always want things to look really, really good, and it's never going to look good. Like, when you first do your first curly hair routine, when you first start as well, it's not going to be perfect. Your results aren't going to be great. And it's the same like with anything you do. When you first start learning something, are you great at it straight away? No, because you're still learning. It's something you kind of got to keep learning and improving on, and you learn from the mistakes. So try not to think like, oh, I've got a bit of frizz here, oh, there's shrinkage here, like, oh, this bit's out of shape. Like, look at my hair right now. I went out like this today for work, and there's some frizz here and there. There's some length that isn't right here and there, but I wore it out just like this. It doesn't look perfect. And like, even if you see my Instagram pictures, remember, I'm only showing you some of it. Like, this is 20% of what my curly hair looks like. This is what my curly hair looks like majority of the time. It's not always perfect, and each curly hair routine result will never be perfect. It will never be the same. So don't be too hard on yourself, and just embrace what your curly hair has. And over time, it becomes second nature. It's something you've got to learn and slowly overcome. But don't feel like you've got to be perfect. Don't compare as well your curly hair to someone else. So I always say this in some videos, that if you've got curly hair similar to me, that's the main thing. You've got to remember it's similar. All of our curly hair is unique. We don't all have the same hair structures. We don't have the same porosity types. Everyone's completely different, and it's unique. And that's what that is what makes curly hair so cool and so amazing, because we've all got our unique hair. So when you slowly stop comparing yourself to others, even in general in life, it makes it a lot easier to be more confident in yourself, loving yourself and embracing yourself and accepting that side of you. So remember, we're all on the journey. I have been in your spot. I completely understand. So put a comment below if you've got something that you want to get off your chest, and I'm more than happy to help you out on it, because I can give you a tip on what I did to overcome that issue. And yeah, and that is it, curl friends. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned something from it. But yeah, if you've got any questions and you want some more curly hair tips on how to learn to love your curly hair, comment below and I'll help you out. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like this video. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay tuned to my curly hair uploads. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss out on the curly hair fun. I hope you guys have a lovely week. Keep it fun, keep it curly, stay true, and see you in the next video. Bye!